One of Donald Trump's top counterterrorism officials has resigned over the war in Iran. Joe Kent said it's clear the conflict was started because of pressure from Israel, and Iran posed no imminent threat to the US. In response, Mr. Trump accused him of being very weak on security. And the president has again lashed out at NATO allies, singling out Sir Keir Starmer, saying America no longer needed help in the war. Well, Sarah Smith is live at the White House for us now. Sarah.
Yeah, officials here are angrily rejecting that accusation that Donald Trump was duped by Israel into declaring war on Iran. They say that is laughable. And they are tearing into Joe Kent, the counterterrorism official, saying that he was kept out of meetings about the Iran war because he was known to be a leaker. They've even called him a crazed egomaniac. But his criticism has struck a chord with many of Donald Trump's own supporters.
Very important topic, especially.
Joe Kent was not the best-known figure in the Trump administration, but he was a true believer who backed the president's policies and even supported his baseless claim that the 2020 election was stolen from him. He had to resign, he says, because the president has abandoned his principle of putting America first. I cannot, in good conscience, support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. This St. Patrick's Day meeting with the Irish Taoiseach was interrupted by questions about Joe Kent's resignation.
When I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out, because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was a threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. The question is whether or not they wanted to do something about it.
The accusation that the US was dragged into this war by Israel seemed to be supported by America's top diplomat at the start of the war.
We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties.
War on Iran. A number of popular MAGA influencers are accusing the president of being pushed into this war by Israel.
Our government's job is not to look out for Iran or for Israel. It's to look out for us. And this feels very much, to me, like it is clearly Israel's war.
It's hard to say this, but the United States didn't make the decision here. Benjamin Netanyahu did.
President Trump reiterated his deep disappointment with NATO allies who he believes have let him down by not joining the war on Iran, especially the UK and Sir Keir Starmer, damaging that long-standing special relationship.
Always was the best until Keir came along, and I like him. He's a nice man. He says everything beautiful. He's a very nice man with a beautiful family. Everything's perfect, but he doesn't produce.
President Trump also posted online that we no longer need or desire the NATO countries' assistance. We never did. By choosing to go to war with Iran without demonstrating an urgent, imminent threat, Donald Trump has alienated allies and is being accused of betrayal by some of his most dedicated supporters. Sarah Smith, BBC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, President Zelensky, who's been at Westminster today, has told the BBC he has a very bad feeling about the impact of the war in Iran on the war in Ukraine. He says peace talks over the conflicts with Russia are being constantly postponed. Earlier, he told a packed room of MPs and peers that the Iranian regime and Vladimir Putin's Russia were brothers in hatred. He's been speaking in an exclusive interview with Laura Koonsberg.
There is another war, one on the edge of our continent that's been raging for years, not weeks. 4 dead in attacks around Kyiv just days ago. Ukraine's leader back touring Western capitals. President Zelensky arrived to say, "I'm still here. Our conflict continues." The risk, perhaps, as he told us, America is looking elsewhere.
I have a very bad feeling about the impact of this war on the situation in Ukraine. The focus of America is more on the Middle East than on Ukraine, unfortunately. Therefore, you see that our diplomatic meetings, trilateral meetings, are constantly postponed. There is one reason: war in Iran.
You say they've been delayed. Are they actually happening at all?
President Trump is concentrating on Iran. The negotiations groups are talking among themselves. Our group is talking to the American side every day. I know that Americans are talking to the Russians every day too.
You're gambling with World War III.
He knows what it's like to be the focus of Donald Trump's frustration.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful.
Just over a year ago, one president's jaw-dropper targeting another. But now, it's the UK leader being criticised from the same gold perch almost every day.
You see that man right there? You know who that is? Churchill. Winston Churchill. The late, great Winston Churchill. You know, unfortunately, Keir is not Winston Churchill.
It's so much more than drama.
Putin can't be the one who benefits.
Maybe a risky wrench in a vital alliance. Not just in the US and the UK, but to the fortunes of Ukraine.
I can't tell Trump what to do. Keir is a smart and very cool partner, absolutely. We know there are emotions in everyone in different ways. I think that Keir, he's in touch with President Trump. He can meet with him and he can reload that relationship again.
Do you believe that President Trump and his actions have made the world more dangerous?
I will not have a fair answer to this. I will probably not be able to. I always try to speak objectively, not subjectively. I believe that any split of NATO will weaken both sides. I would really like President Trump to meet with Starmer, central countries, so they have a common position.
Common positions? All the photo ops in the world won't end conflicts alone. Handshakes, no substitute for hard power. Laura Kunsberg, BBC News.
Well, in the last hour, Iranian media has confirmed that a key advisor to the late supreme leader has been killed in an Israeli missile strike. Ali Larijani was filmed last week marching with government supporters. The US had put him on their most wanted list. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps has also confirmed the death of Gholamreza Soleimani, the head of a prominent paramilitary force killed in another Israeli attack. Overnight, Iranian missiles struck neighboring Iraq, where the US embassy in Baghdad came under drone and rocket attacks. Israel has continued its aerial and ground assault in Lebanon, targeting the Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah, and in central Israel, an Iranian attack involving what's believed to be cluster munitions damaged cars, a bus and a train station. Well, Jeremy Bowen is with me now. So, confirmation, Jeremy, in the last hour, Ali Larijani, a senior figure in the regime, he's now dead.
Yep, and this is part of Israel's mission. It's very clearly, explicitly stated war aim to try to destroy the regime of the Islamic Republic of Iran by wiping out its leadership as well as its military capacity. Now, what kind of man was Mr. Larijani? Well, he has effectively been the guy who's been running the war. So, very central figure. The centre of the regime for 40 years. He's been there. His brothers are also senior people, seen as a pragmatist over the years, but a regime insider with the clout, if eventually a deal was put on the table to end the war, the clout perhaps to make that sort of deal. Now, if he's replaced by someone who's much more of a hardliner, maybe someone from inside the IRGC, then he might be rather less pragmatic and want to fight it out to the end. So, look, let's quick look at where we are at the moment. Donald Trump's anger at his allies is palpable. Harsh words about Keir Starmer, about NATO. It shows the bind that he's in. Does he declare victory? Can he declare victory and go home? Hard politically. Does he escalate? Talk of going for the Iranian oil facilities on Karg Island. That brings its own dangers of Iran hitting back at Gulf Arab oil installations, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates. So, for Donald Trump, no easy options, no good ones, and if anything, the indicators are pointing to more escalation coming from his side.
All right. Jeremy, thank you. Jeremy Bowen, our international editor there. Now, video and interview material obtained by the BBC gives us a rare insight into the experiences of Iranians living through the war. We've protected the identities of those appearing in this report from our special correspondent, Fergal Keane.
The war approaches from a distance. A steady, ominous percussion. Strange lights erupting in familiar neighborhoods.
Do you know what the difference is between our sky and the sky of the rest of the world? They sleep under the stars at night, and we sleep under rockets. Both skies give light, but different kinds of light.
Baran is a businesswoman, a rare voice cutting through the state's repression. Trapped inside her flat, afraid to venture out. We've changed her name and voice to protect her identity.
On the nights when they bomb, from up here you can see the smoke and the place that has been bombarded. I fear for my tomorrow. Today I survive somehow, but how will I get through tomorrow? Will I even live tomorrow?
What the world can see and hear is tightly controlled by the government. The state's watchers are everywhere. The only public narrative is the official one.
The only thing we can do is at least participate in these marches, renew our allegiance and prove to America and Israel that the Iranian nation is a great nation.
By night, the supporters of the regime control the streets. This convoy glimpsed through the window of a Tehran apartment.
Now I see groups of people in the streets who are not from among us at all. They are people who support the government and who have, in effect, taken the streets away from us.
Ali, again, identity and voice changed, is like many who find their emotions torn by the war. He vehemently opposes the regime, but at the same time feels it's also his country being bombed.
The situation is frightening. Now, after almost 2 weeks, when I see my relatives, I see both hope and fear for the future. Fear that the skies of your country are controlled by enemy forces. But at the same time, there is always a hope in people's hearts. It's not that we're supporting America or Israel, but hoping simply that for one moment, something might happen that ends the current Iranian regime, and that the people will be able to create change.
This was the world the people of Tehran knew on the evening before the war began. Now, Valanjekbam Park is closed. The city below has become a place in which to hide and to try and hold on to hope.
War is not just bombs. This war will not end soon, because this war is inside our homes, inside our families. The war has entered our blood and has entered our lives.
The citizens of a 6,000-year-old city live in fear of American and Israeli bombs, of the regime and its torturers. Fear, it is the only constant. Fergal Keane, BBC News.